All right, dialecticians and absolute idealists, you might want to buckle up your mental seatbelt and put on your thinking cap and maybe borrow a few of your friends, because we're going to enter the world of Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. This German philosopher is like the MC Escher of philosophy. Like, just when you think, I've got him figured out, you realize, why am I walking on the ceiling? So imagine it's the early 19th century Germany. The Enlightenment has everyone thinking, they've got reason all figured out, and while most people are busy celebrating how rational they are, Hegel is in the corner mumbling, but what if everything we know is wrong and right, and at the same time? Enter the man who would become the master of mental gymnastics, armed with a prose style that could make a clear day seem foggy, a system of thought more complex than a Rube Goldberg machine, and a burning desire to tell the world everything is connected, contradictory, and constantly changing, including this sentence. Let's talk about some of Hegel's key concepts and ideas, or how to give yourself a philosophical headache in 7 easy steps. First is dialectics, or thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and then you just repeat that until you're really, really dizzy. Hegel's philosophical merry-go-round: everything contains its own contradiction, leading to a higher truth. It's like he's saying, life is not about the destination, it's about the endless spiral of conceptual evolution. And then we have thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. It's the idea that every concept, that's the thesis, generates an opposite, the antithesis, that results in a higher level reconciliation. That's where it's synthesized together. It's the yes, no, maybe of philosophical reasoning. And then we have the Aufheben, the simultaneously preserving, canceling, lifting up of contradictions. It's like Hegel invented a philosophical blender that somehow makes a smoothie while keeping all the ingredients whole. Then sublation, the process by which the contradiction between thesis and antithesis is overcome. It's the now kiss and make up of conceptual conflicts. Then the second big piece we had was absolute idealism, or reality is all in your head and everyone else's too. And Hegel's big idea is that the universe is basically one big thought, thinking itself. It's like he's saying we're all just figments of God's imagination, and God is a figment of our imagination. So this plays out through spirit, Geist, the universal mind of consciousness that is the ultimate reality. Kind of think like the Force in Star Wars, but with more footnotes and less cool lightsaber battles. The second piece of this is the phenomenology of spirit. It's the journey of consciousness from individual to absolute knowledge. It's the eat, pray, love of philosophical self-discovery, but way more complicated and a lot less pasta. The next piece to this was the concrete universal, the idea that the universe is not abstract, but manifests in particular things, sort of like saying every apple is a unique expression of the universe concept of appleness. 3 is historical progress, or history is not just one damn thing after another. Hegel's take on history, it's not just a series of events, but the unfolding of reason and freedom, sort of like he's the first person to binge watch the entire series of human history and say, oh, I see the story now. Some of the pieces to this were first, world spirit, the guiding force of history, realizing itself through human events, sort of like the showrunner of the cosmic TV series we call reality. Next was the end of history, and this is the final stage where the world spirit fully realizes itself. It's the happily ever after of global consciousness, but with more paperwork. The third piece to this was the dialectic progression. History moves forward through conflicts and resolutions. Sort of like saying 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but always moving towards greater freedom and self-awareness. The fourth thing he's known for is the state and civil society, or why can't we just get along? Oh wait, we can. Hegel's vision of the perfect society is a place where individual freedom and social cohesion are in perfect harmony. It's like he's trying to solve a Rubik's Cube where every side is freedom and community at the same time. So the way this plays out was first, ethical life, the harmonious social order where individuals and collective interests align. It's the have your cake and eat it too of political philosophy. The second piece to this was civil society, that the spheres of economic and social interaction outside the state, sort of like the playground where adults go to practice being free and interdependent at the same time. Next piece was the state, the highest form of ethical life, reconciling individual and collective interests. It's like the final boss of the video game of social organization. And let me pause and say, are you confused yet? The fifth thing he's known for is the master-slave dialectic, or how to win friends and dominate people. Hegel's analysis of power relations and self-consciousness is essentially we need others to recognize us, but we also want to dominate them. He's pretty much describing every high school cafeteria ever. Some of the steps to this were the struggle for recognition. It's the idea that self-consciousness requires recognition from others. It's the philosophical explanation for why we care about Instagram likes. The next piece was interdependence. It's the realization that even the master depends on the slave for recognition. It's like saying you're not really the boss if no one thinks you're the boss. Third, freedom through work. The slave becomes free by shaping the world through labor. It's the you're not working for me, you're working for yourself of philosophical pep talks. The sixth thing he was known for was the philosophy of rights, or laws, rights, and the pursuit of reasonableness. Hegel's theory of laws and rights was a system where freedom is realized through rational social institutions. It's sort of like he's trying to make a legal system that's as logical as a mathematical proof, but with more wigs and gavels. Some of the steps to this were: first, abstract right. The basic concept of legal personhood and property is the mind, no mind stage of legal philosophy. Second was morality, the sphere of individual consciousness and intention. It's the but I meant well defense, elevated to a philosophical principle. The third piece was ethical life. That is the synthesis of legal rights and moral consciousness in social institutions. It's like Hegel's trying to make a philosophical smoothie with law, ethics, and society as the main ingredients. The seventh thing he's known for is aesthetics, or why is this beautiful? Let me write a 500-page book to explain. Hegel's theory of art. Art is the sensuous presentation of absolute spiritual truth. It's like he's saying, sure, that painting is pretty, but did you know it's also a manifestation of the cosmic consciousness? Trippy, right? Pieces to this were symbolic, classical, and romantic art, the historical stages of art's development. It's like Hegel's version of egg, caterpillar, butterfly, but more so for the entire history of human creativity. The next piece was end of art, the idea that art, in its highest sense, is a thing of the past. It's like Hegel saying, pack it up, Picasso, philosophy's got it from here. And then the third piece there was art as truth, the notion that art reveals deep truths about reality. It's not just a phase, Mom. It's a manifestation of the absolute, of aesthetic theory. So if you're not confused enough already, let's get a little bit more confused and dive a bit deeper into these mind-boggling ideas and their impacts. First, dialectics. His method here is like the philosophical equivalent of a three-step dance: thesis, step forward; antithesis, step back; synthesize, just twirl and strike a pose. But don't let the simplicity fool you, because this dance can describe everything from the development of ideas to the progress of history itself. And the impact of this idea is, well, positively and negatively absolute. In philosophy, it's influenced everyone from Marx to Sartre, spanning whole schools of thought. Political theory, it shaped ideas about historical progress and social change. In psychology, it's influenced theories of cognitive development and conflict resolution. Hegel's dialectics isn't just about opposites attracting, it's about opposites having a philosophical cage match and somehow both win. It's like he's sort of saying, why choose between either or when you can have both and? The second big thing he's known for, again, was absolute idealism. And this is Hegel's big idea that reality is fundamentally mental or spiritual. He's sort of saying we're all living in a dream, but it's okay because the dream, well, is dreaming itself. Now, this mind-bending, very confusing concept has had actually far-reaching effects. In metaphysics, it's challenged materialist concepts of reality. In theology, it's influenced ideas about God and the nature of existence. In cognitive science, it shaped debates about the nature of the mind and how we understand consciousness. And Hegel's absolute idealism, it's not just kind of this abstract navel-gazing, but for him, it's really the key to understanding everything from art and religion to politics and history. It's his source code of the universe, and surprise, it's written in German. Third was historical progress. Hegel saw history not as a random series of events, but as the progressive self-realization of Geist, spirit or mind. It's like he's watching the entire human history and saying, ah, I see what you did there, world spirit. And this view of history has had an enormous influence. In political theory, it has shaped ideas about the direction and meaning of historical change. In sociology, it's influenced theories of social evolution and progress. So there's no Malcolm Gladwell without Hegel. In cultural studies, it's contributed to understanding how ideas and cultures develop over time. But Hegel's not saying history is this like smooth ride to paradise. It's more like a roller coaster with plenty of loops and twists, stomach-churning moments along the way. Sometimes you just want to throw up. The end of history isn't a finish line. It's more like we're trying to reach the highest level in a video game of consciousness. The fourth piece was the state and civil society. Hegel's vision of the idea society is like a perfectly balanced ecosystem where individual freedom, but also social harmony coexist. It's like he's trying to figure out a way to solve the Rubik's Cube of political philosophy. And his ideas have had an incredibly lasting impact. In political science, they've influenced theories of the state and civil society. In sociology, they've shaped understanding of social institutions and their functions. In legal philosophy, they've contributed to theories of rights and social justice. And Hegel's not just saying, can't we all get along? He's trying to provide a roadmap for how we actually do it. It's like he's the relationship counselor for the messy divorce between individual liberty and social cohesion, saying, hey, we can still be friends. And then fifth, we'll go back to the master-slave dialectic, and it's not about actual slavery, but about the psychological dance of recognition and power that shapes all human relationships. It's like Hegel's explaining why high school feels like a battlefield of cliques and social hierarchies. And this concept has been hugely influential. In psychology, it's influenced theories of identity formation and social cognition. It's also made a lot of money for Robert Greene. In critical theory, it shaped analysis of power dynamics in society. In literature and film, it's provided a framework for understanding the relationship between characters. In the master-slave dialectic, it's not just about dominance and submission, it's about the twisty, turny path to self-consciousness and freedom. It's like Hegel saying, you're not really free until you sort of realize how maybe unfree you actually are. And then philosophy of right. Now, this was Hegel's attempt to create a rational system of law and ethics. It's like he's trying to make a legal system that's as logical as a math equation, but there were a lot more powdered wigs. And his ideas here have had significant impact. In legal philosophy, they've influenced theories of rights and also justice. In political theory, they've shaped ideas about the relationship between individuals with the state. And in ethics, they've contributed to debates about the nature of moral reasoning. It's not that he's trying to lay out a set of rules. He's trying to show how freedom can be realized through social institutions. It's a way of saying rules don't limit freedom, they actually make it possible if you do it right. And then going to art, aesthetics. His theory of art, it's not just about what looks pretty, but that art is really a way of expressing deep truths about reality. He's saying, sure, that painting is nice, but did you know it's also a window into the soul of the universe? Or at the very least, the soul of the one who painted it. And his aesthetic theory, it has had a lasting impact. In art criticism, it's shaped how we think about the meaning and purpose of different pieces of art. In cultural studies, it's influenced understanding of how art relates to society and also history. And in philosophy, it's contributed to debates about the nature of beauty, the importance of beauty, and beauty's truth. Hegel's idea of the end of art doesn't mean we should all throw away our paintbrushes and those things you've kept from your kids or that your parents kept when you were a kid. It's more like he's saying art has done the job in revealing truth, but philosophy can take it from here. Thanks for warming them up. Now it's time for the main event of cultural evolution. And Hegel's influence, it does extend beyond philosophy. He's sort of like intellectual yeast in the bread of modern Western thought. You might not see him directly, but he's kind of making everything rise, and it's gotten a lot more complex. And so his ideas, they have shaped politics, influencing everything from Marxism to modern liberalism and also conservatism. Psychology, shaping theories of consciousness, development, and how we socially interact. Literature, providing frameworks for understanding narrative structure and character development. Art, influencing theories of aesthetic and the role of art and what it plays in society. And religion, shaping modern theology and theories of religious experience. And then, of course, history, influencing how we understand historical change and progress. And then science, contributing to debates about the nature of scientific knowledge and progress. So even if you've never read a word of Hegel, and let's be honest, his prose is denser than a black hole, you have felt his influence. He's like the philosophical background radiation of the modern world, always there, shaping how we think about, well, everything.